Hi, in this lesson we are going to learn about two-dimensional arrays, and we will use these two-dimensional arrays to print any English character using spaces and stars, as we can see here. This is going to be the output of our program. Okay. We have seen the theory and the memory allocation for these two-dimensional arrays in the previous lesson. So the example code we are going to see here is going to be very easy. Okay, before getting into details, first, let us look at the characters and their equivalent numeric values. Here we have a simple for loop that is printing numbers from 1 to 256. Okay, now let us make a small change and see how we can print the same number as character. In printf method, to print as number we use %d, and to print as character we use %c. So let's print the value of I as both number and character using printf. Okay, we need a new line here. So if you see here, first some characters are not printable. That is the reason we are seeing these square brackets here. They are not equal to square brackets, but because they are not printable here, we are seeing the square brackets. To print $symbol, I just need to print 36 as a character. Here if you see, to print space, we need to print 32 as characters. Also to print star, we need to print 42 as character. Now let's create a two-dimensional array. As we have seen in theory, two-dimensional array is an array of one-dimensional arrays. Let's create two arrays. Okay, here we have first array. Let's say it has 2, 3, 4. Okay, here we have two arrays. To create a two-dimensional array, we can simply use these two arrays and create a two-dimensional array. Let's do that. So to create a two-dimensional array, we have to include two pairs of square brackets before declaring the variable name. Okay, it is array, right? So it is array of arrays. So here we can simply mention array 1 and array 2. Okay, I'm commenting this part because this for loop we ran just to see that to print a space we need to use 32 and to print a star we need to use 42. I commented this. Now we know how to print these arrays. We have seen that in the previous lessons. We use arrays.toString. Here you can see 2, 3, 4 is printed. So how can we print this two-dimensional array? To print a two-dimensional array, we have to use arrays.deep2string method. So let's print that. Okay, here you can see the two-dimensional array is printed, and we can also very clearly see that two-dimensional array is nothing but array of single dimensional arrays or array of arrays. Okay, also let me show you a way to write these arrays in a simple way. So here instead of including like this, I can write 2, 3, 4, if there are any more elements, I can include them. For example, here I can include 5, so the last comma will be ignored. Okay, so here, so the same thing here also we can write in the same fashion. Okay, so here to create a two-dimensional array, let's make an array. So here this is a single dimensional array. If I write 2, 3, 4, then it's going to become single dimensional array. But to make it two-dimensional array, what we have to do is, instead of a single primitive value, I have to give a array, because two-dimensional array is array of arrays. Okay, here I can mention all those values 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is one way of writing. So let's print it and see the same thing. Here we can see this is a two-dimensional array. Okay, that is how we create two-dimensional arrays using array initializer. Okay, let's create one more two-dimensional variable and use the expression using new keyword. But whenever we are creating, we have to give the size for the initial array. So if you don't give the size for the first dimension or the first array, then it is going to be a compile time error. It says array dimension is missing. So you don't need to provide both the dimensions, you just need to provide first dimension. So here in this case, I can assign 3. Okay, so because if you see here, the first array is having 3 elements or 3 arrays. So this size is going to be 3. Okay, next I can assign the values using these initializers for the next array. So what I mean is, so here I can give the first element in this array is nothing but this first array. Does this work? It doesn't work. Why? We have to give new int. Okay, now it is going to work, because previously we have seen, right, whenever we are assigning a array initializer to a variable, we can't do that unless it is in the declaration part. I mean, if we are declaring and assigning, then we can use array initializer. But if we are declaring in one line, in this case we have declared the variable in this line, but we are assigning in a different line, then we have to use anonymous array. Okay, let's complete the same thing for next two values also. Now if we print, the both values should be same. So here we can verify that both are having the same value. So this is how we create two-dimensional array using simple array initializer. Here this is how we create a two-dimensional array using the new int expression. Okay, so here also you don't need to use a anonymous array. You can simply give the size, then you can assign the values. So let's see that for the first one. So instead of using this array initializer, I can simply say here the first one is going to have 3 elements. So here I can simply mention 3, then end with it. Then I can assign here the first variable is 2. Second one is 3 and third one is 4. So let's print it again, because we make some change here. Instead of using simple array initializer, not array initializer, we were using anonymous array. Instead of using anonymous array, we are using the individual values. We are assigning individual values. Okay, so here they should be 0, 1, 2. This is the problem with indexes. We generally go out of bound whenever we are not careful. So be very careful with indexes. Here we can see both are same. Here we can create a ragged array also. What do we mean by that? The 3 elements in the array need not be having 3 elements here. So one can have only 2 elements, another can have 3 elements, another can have 4 elements. Let's make that change. The first element, let's make only 2, and the second one, let's make it 3, and fourth one, let's make it 4. So now if we print this array, it is going to be ragged array. So here you can see the first case, all the 3 arrays are of the same length. But in the second case, the first array is having only 2 elements, second array is having 3 elements, and third array is having 4 elements. So this kind of array is called ragged array. To create the ragged arrays, we have to give these arrays individually. Otherwise, if we are creating a variable and if you are not creating these declarations, then we can't do that. Let's look at that in the example. So here the variable number is 3. If we have fixed the size, then all that we can do is, okay, for the 0th element, there are 3 values. For the first element also, I am just going to give the same values. Let's print that array as well. Here we can see that it is of equal size. So to create any ragged array, we have to initialize the arrays in between. We can't do the ragged array with all the elements assigned at the declaration itself. Okay. Now let's discuss about printing the characters. Here if you see, I have a 2-dimensional array. Here I am having the array with values 32, 42 and so on. So whenever 32 is there, the space will be printed, and whenever 42 is there, a star will be printed. So here if you see, here I created a using 42 values. So let's print this array. Okay, I have all the characters, so I can print any character. So how do we print 2-dimensional array? So to print a single dimensional array, we used simple for each loop, but to print a 2-dimensional array, we have to use 2 levels of for each loop, because when we deal with two-dimensional array, each element in two-dimensional array is a array, right? So here we have to give an array. So then each element in this inner array is a integer value. So that is the integer value we want to print as a character. Okay, let's print this one. Okay, and we will see. This time A is going to be printed. So here we can simply see A is printed. We want to print D, then we can print D. So all that I did is, wherever space is there, I am assigning 32. Wherever star is there, I am assigning 42. So you can see all these values. So let's print one more character. Okay, you can go through this program, and if you have any questions, please write them in comments. I hope this concept of two-dimensional array is very clear, because we have demonstrated with PowerPoint presentation as well as with so many details here. So if you have any questions, please make sure you write them in the comments. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and share it with others. Thank you.